A new era is upon us in IndyCar racing here at the Afterburn IndyCar Series. Round 9 of the Afterburn IndyCar Series comes to you from Pocono Raceway. Pocono, one of the most difficult tracks on the Afterburn IndyCar Series schedule. Beautiful track, 2.5 miles long, also known as the Tricky Triangle in Doyle. This is going to be one interesting race, not only because of the fact we're at Pocono, but as I said, we are entering a new era here in simulated IndyCar racing.
Yeah, that's right, Will. This week we've got the new tire model, aka NTM, which is going to play heavily into today's race. Changes everything. All the crew chiefs have had to completely scramble to do all new setups and learn how to run the car all over again. So this is going to definitely be exciting.
So we're currently looking on board live at David Ward in the number 69 pink machine on his qualifying lap. Now, one of the things that's going to be really interesting at this track with this new tyre model is to see whether drivers do 4 laps of qualifying or do 2 single laps. Because with the new tyre model, with the new suspension and the new aero package, what it means is that these tyres have a lot of grip for the first lap and bit, and then with certain tyre pressures, the grip just falls off dramatically after about a lap or so.
Yeah, that's exactly the opposite behavior that we saw from the cars previous to the new tire model. Now it's more, I guess you'd say, true to life. So when you're coming out of the pits or when you first start, that's the most traction you're ever going to see, which is pretty much the opposite of what we saw before.
So currently Sean Stroud is setting the pace in the number 21 Watcher designed Team Afterburn machine with a qualifying time of 40.931. That's comparable with the times that was being set last season, not only at Pocono but in the official series as well, getting into the 40-second bracket. Jonathan Goat currently sat in second in the number 8 Purple Fury machine, with David Ward in 3rd position, running Pocono in 4th, and Dave Jinks in number 76 West USA machine currently in the 5th spot. You see David Ward there get up. He lost the grip there at that last little point, and it looks as though for him he is going to not have a chance to do any more laps.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you were talking about, is got to be real careful with the car, and so you're going to see a lot of people setting their qualifying lap times, like you said earlier, lap 1, lap 2, and that'll pretty much be the end of the run.
So we've got ourselves about a minute or so left for qualifying, about 1 minute 40. Currently looking at Jonathan Goat in the 08 machine as he is coming down into turn number 1 on his 4th lap. He's moved himself up, and he's still sat in the 2nd position with that 41.045. Monica Clara Brand in the number 77 machine, that Livestrong racing car. She has making her first appearance into the Afterburn IndyCar Series this season. She's currently sat in the 3rd spot. That bumps David Ward down into the 4th position, Randy Crosno into 5th. We've got 15 cars qualifying so far, and what we can see is that there's some very big gaps between segments of the field.
Yeah, and I think that's due to what we mentioned earlier, the fact that the new tire model, there's been some other changes to the car, the drafting model, some other things happening, and that just happened a few days ago. So all these teams have really had to scramble to reset the cars and almost learn how to drive a new vehicle all over again. So you're going to see a lot of shortcomings in the handlings of the vehicles today.
And as we approach the month of May, Doyle, this is going to be one of the most intense development races in the history of IndyCar. Not only having to compete with the Afterburn IndyCar Series, the iRacing Official Series, but also coming up in just 4 weeks' time, the iRacing Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, that's going to be a big race, and you see a lot of the top teams really digging it out there, trying to do the development on the setup for the car. A lot of secret sessions and a lot of, black ops, as if you would, looking at all those setups, trying to see who can set the fastest time. So this is a whole new ballgame this year because nobody knows, what really is going to be the pole time this year.
We are 5 minutes into our broadcast, and already Doyle Johnson is on his conspiracy theories. We're going to run through the grid now as the field are about to line up double file for this start. In the first position, Sean Stroud on number 21, Watch a Design Machine, qualifies on pole position 40.931, with Jonathan Goat in second in the 08 Purple Fury Machine. In third place, Monica Clara Brand in the number 77 Livestrong Machine, with David Ward in fourth position. Then Randy Crosno in the number 4 Aerox Racing Machine in 5th. Dave Jinks in the number 76 West USA car is in 6th. Then Julian Pham in the number 78 car is in 7th. Then Thomas Kroll in 8th. Pierre Baudot is in the 9th spot, with David Stowe also making his first appearance into the Afterburn IndyCar Series in 10th. John Ailes in 11th. Joachim Politzner in 12th. Eric Hunter, new driver yet again, in the number 99 machine, is in 13th, with Philippe Lambert struggling in that 02 car in 14th. Then Justin Smithson is in 15th. A couple of drivers who didn't qualify, Ryan Norton, Yves Warner, and Matthew Lambertson.
It'll be interesting to see if some of those cars that did not put down a qualifying time are actually going to stay in the pits, or whether they're going to join the rest of the field. This being in such a difficult track too, Will, I mean, it's not even the right shape. It's not really an oval. It's kind of a weird tri-octa-oval-agon shape. So it's really challenging.
Oh yeah, one of the most difficult tracks of the ovals of the entirety of the Afterburn IndyCar Series. And Doyle, the field now lining up 2 by 2 for this start.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many people have managed to master this with a new tire model, because you've got the ever-present turn 1 that is so important to the race times of this track. I mean, you must master turn 1 in order to set some decent lap times here, and obviously to keep your car on the track, because that wall coming out of turn 1 has eaten more cars, than Robosaurus. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there.
Yeah, turn number 1, 14 degrees of banking as they come down it now. You see the pace car is leading the field with Sean Stroud and Jonathan Goat in row number 1. 14 degrees of banking in turn number 1, then 8 degrees of banking in turn number 2. Very similar in its style to turn 2 of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then turn number 3, just 6 degrees of banking down there. And you say turn 1 is important, but in my opinion, turn 3 is also so important to get good drive off the corner down what is one of the longest straightaways that we race on.
I agree. It's absolutely, turn 3 is also important. It's less of a crash factor than it is a speed factor. But turn 1 is definitely where you see a lot of crashing going on. Like we're coming around there. Also, Will, I've got a question for you. I noticed that we still have the third chair in the booth here. How long do you think it'll be? How many laps before Randy Crosno joins us in the booth today?
I am not even going to ask that one. Interesting point of note, however, the number 69 machine of David Ward will be starting this race from pit lane. As you see, they are too wide, going through turn number 3 at the moment. No such thing as turn 4 at Pocono Raceway. You see that his car is going to make that hard turn down towards pit lane. Be ready. The green flag comes here very, very quickly. Sean Stroud on the inside, Jonathan Goak on the outside. Pace car pulls in, and round 9 of the Afterburn IndyCar Series on Glacier TV is green. Great start there by Jonathan Goak in the 08 machine, almost side by side there with Sean Stroud coming into turn number 1. Sean Stroud having to get a little bit defensive on the run into the first corner. Goak looking down to the inside. Sean Stroud doing a great job in that first position behind Monica Clara Brand. Has set herself up nicely in the third spot, with Randy Crosno coming under attack a little bit from Dave Jinks in the number 76 machine.
Well, that's actually a good sign starting the race. Everybody managed to make it through turn 1 right off the bat, so we're off to a really good start here, Will.
Some really good action through the field. As you see further back, David Stowe putting a bit of pressure on Thomas Kroll. Looking to the high side. Is he going to try to go around the outside? Coming down for a training. Randy Crosno. Oh, I believe that was Randy Crosno getting it loose off turn number 3. And I think he managed to get it down pit lane there, out of harm's way. But we are still under green flag racing, and we need to get a replay of that. But Randy Crosno had to drive through pit lane there, as he just got himself so loose. He's also going to get himself a black flag speeding penalty, but unfortunately for him, he kept it out of the wall.
Absolutely, that was a great quick thinking maneuver by Randy there to keep himself out of trouble. So he'll have to go back in and serve that black flag penalty, lose a lap, but he'll still be in the race.
And because cautions are so prevalent, you see Ryan Norton, he is working down the inside line, trying to get himself around Pierre Bourdon in the number 92 machine as he turn is looking down to the inside of Julien Pham. Watch out as they're coming into turn number 1. Bourdon down to the inside, he's going to clear Julien Pham, and he's causing a little bit of a backup there as Pham all the way to the outside, almost getting it into the wall there, but keeping it just out. I was saying for Randy Cosno, because there are often quite a lot of cautions here, you have the opportunity to try and get the wave around. As you see, he's going to try and come down pit lane. He's down there now, serving his black flag penalty. That is going to put him just about one lap down. He's going to come out literally behind Jonathan Goat, who I believe is taking the race lead away from Sean Stroud in the number 21 machine. So we have a lead change on track as we're currently working lap 4 of 100. Randy Cosmo is still sat in pit lane, I believe. So he has lost himself a lot of time there. He's gone one lap down, but I believe he's probably just topping up on fuel and some top fresh tyres as well. As Jonathan Goat in the 08 car is your new leader.
Yeah, excellent racing so far. What's going to happen though is, oh, somebody into the wall right there.
And that is Monica Clara Brand, who is into the, who's on the grass. We are still under green flag conditions for the moment though. Just having a look to see whether or not Brand is going to cause a caution. Having a look back to see what happened to her. Getting it loose on the exit, I believe, of turn 2 into the wall in that number 77 Livestrong machine. Disappointment there from Monica Clara Brand, who started this race in a solid 3rd position, and she's going to be disappointed with that. And when you set your car up to work well in turns 1 and turn 3, where you gain the most time, turn 2 is always such a struggle, and it just looked as though Monica Clara Brand just got it loose as she came off the corner, and as she tried to correct it, just speared herself into the wall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Monica. Her debut in the series, and she really likes Pocono. She's run a lot of laps here. She knows the track really well, but that was a first in the other car.
Here comes Sean Stroud again down to the inside. Oh, and a tap there from Jonathan Goat to get himself back into the race lead. Sean Stroud is not going to be happy with that. 2 wides to come down. This straightaway down into turn number 2. The short shoot, if you want to call it that. And here comes Jonathan Goat. He's still on the inside. Sean Stroud pinching him down. Jonathan Goat just managed to keep that position for the moment. But I'm wondering whether Sean Stroud has himself a little bit of front wing damage. Looking at it on my screen, he looks okay for the moment. But that is going to put Sean Stroud in a pretty bad mood.
Yeah, he got a little screw there coming off turn 2. Like you saw, so yeah, I'm wondering too whether he might have got maybe even a little suspension damage.
And Monica Clara Brand is, I believe, just brought herself back onto the racetrack after getting some repairs to her race car. She is currently scored as 1 lap down. Randy Crosno in the number 4 car is still sat in pit lane. I'm wondering what the issue with Randy Crosno is. Meanwhile, Jonathan Goat is still your race leader with Sean Stroud in 2nd. Dave Jinks has moved himself up into the 3rd position with David Stowe in 4th. Ryan Norton all the way up into the 5th spot already. He has made up the most places in this race, as he's, I believe, actually got himself around Dave Jinks and David Stowe to move himself up into the 3rd position. So let's change it all back again. Ryan Norton is now 3rd, Dave Jinks in 4th. David Stowe is now down into the 5th spot with Pierre Bourdon in 6th. Thomas Cron in 7th, Julien Pham all the way down into the 8th position, Joachim Pelitzner in 9th, and Eric Hunter rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and you can see some of these drivers being very, very careful, especially into turn 1. They're slowing quite a bit, they're lifting, they're trying to make sure they can keep control of their cars, which is really smart racing for today, because again, we're only on lap 8 of 100 laps, so lifting, keeping control of your car, getting used to your cars is definitely the way to go.
And I just saw Dave Stowe there looking again to the inside of Dave Jinks going through turn number 3. So many different lines through that corner, and it almost looks as though you can get very close to the driver and try to get your car inside. It's looking down again to the low side through turn number 1. But there are some very unique lines through this corner. through all the corners there.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with just trying to get used to the car and the way the car feels compared to what they're used to.
We are currently working lap 9 of 100 here at the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Will Vinton and Doyle Johnson, your commentators in the booth. And I have to say, this is one track where I expected there to be an early caution, but unless I'm going to put the personal commentator on, it has been pretty clean racing so far.
Well, yeah, you can think that a lot to two drivers are real quick thinking. Randy for ducking into the pits and Monica for keeping it down in the grass and not coming back up on the track. So we're in pretty good shape.
Jonathan Goke is still your race leader with Sean Stroud less than 4/10 of a second behind, coming through turn number 3 to complete lap number 10. Looks like Sean Stroud for the moment is just hanging back, seeing how his car works in traffic, because he might need to use that to his advantage later on. But the gap is now less than 3/10 of a second as they bring it down towards turn number 1. Jonathan Goke is your race leader in the number 08 car, and Sean Stroud getting very, very close as they come off turn number 1.
Ryan Norton's managed to make his way up into the 3rd position, and Dave Jinks is really holding on to a solid 4th. He was battling with David Stowe there for a while, but he seems to have closed that up a little bit.
Ryan Norton.
So we're spread out pretty good right now.
We are spread out really good, and this is going to mean that this stint is going to run hopefully a little bit longer. And Ryan Norton, he is in the 3rd position, managed to shake himself away now from Dave Jinks in the number 76 machine. The gap between those two drivers, 1.4 seconds on the racetrack. And Ryan Norton now, he has got Monica Clara Brand, I believe, ahead of him, as Monica Clara Brand is currently sat 2 laps down. For Monica Clara Brand, she can still come into play, helping out her teammates on the racetrack, and also giving Ryan Norton a bit of a tow to try and catch up to those lead duo.
Yeah, and you've got a kind of a big race going on from position 9 all the way back. They're actually bunched up pretty good, and you've got some people doing a little battle right here. Look like they have similar race cards in the way they're handling and speed, so we've got a little bit of racing going on here in the back of the pack.
Yeah, I believe that is Philippe Lambert there, and trying to go 2 wide, 3 wide, almost into turn number 3. That never works as they come onto front stretch, and I see some smoke there. Car into the wall, and we are under our first caution of the day here at Pocono Raceway, and having a look back to see which 2 drivers were involved, which driver was involved in that as the caution came out. And I believe, just having a look back, it was again Monica Clara Brand. A difficult day continues, sliding it off turn number 3, just like Randy Cosno did in the early stages of this race. However, unlike Randy Cosno, she gets the car into the wall, spinning it down pit lane. She's got some severe damage to her front wing there, and a difficult day there for Monica Clara Brand in the number 77.
Yeah, whatever's happened to her is just not agreeing with her. The car is just so snapping, so loose coming off the corners. I don't know if it's the steering input or something, but she's really having a tough day keeping control of that car coming out of the corners.
So Jonathan Goke is our race leader as we're working our first portion of the day here, lap 14 of 100 in the Pocono 250. Sean Stroud currently sat in the 2nd position. Ryan Norton is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this caution. He's moved himself from the rear to the 3rd position on this racetrack. However, he's been unable to negate that 4-second deficit he had under green flag conditions. As you see Jonathan Goke, he looks like he's going to come down pit lane when the pits open in just a matter of moments' time. One of the things I think that caught out Monica though is that the way the cars work on the racetrack, the weight jacket and the anti-roll bars, you have to use them well on this racetrack. And with the changes they've made to the way the weight jacket works, with the different increments, I think that's caught, Monica was the first driver to be caught out by that, but we also saw Randy Cosno earlier on. He was very lucky to escape hitting that retaining wall between pit lane and the racetrack.
Yeah, and as we talked about earlier, that's going to be a big factor. Like you mentioned, the weight jacker, how it's working. The weight jacker is now more of a fine adjustment on the car than it used to be. It's actually 4-to-1 on the weight jacker now. As you know, what the adjustment that was a 1 last time is now a 4. So the adjustment is, you know, much finer and much wider. And somebody like Monica, who has really run Pocono a lot and been very successful, obviously, you know, she probably needs a lot more lap time in this new car in order to get as comfortable with it as she was before.
Race off pit road there between Jonathan Goetz and Sean Stroud. I'm looking back to see it was very close between a number of drivers there who managed to get out ahead. I believe that Jonathan Goetz just was able to do so as they came out of pit lane. Sean Stroud was very, very, very close to being winning the race off pit road. Behind, they were pretty much 2 wide as they came out of pit lane. In some cases, almost 3 wide. David Stowe had a great battle off pit lane with Pierre Bourdon in the number 92 machine. David Stowe riding the number 76 Liverpool FC car. And then further back, Julian Pham managed to get himself out okay. But behind, very, very interesting race off pit road there.
Yeah, and you see Randy Krause went ahead and stayed out on the track because he, you know, I think that was a strategy. He's going to try to get as many of those 3 laps back as he can. So, strategy on his part.
Yeah, so David Ward is currently going to be scored as the leader of your race in the number 69 Team Afterburn machine, signing for Team Afterburn just this week after a great debut in the Afterburn IndyCar Series at Dover International Speedway just 1 week ago. This could pin Randy Cosno 1 lap down unless David Ward decides to come down pit lane this time. Having a look to see whether he makes that turn down pit lane. At the moment, doesn't look as though he will do.
I guess he figured at only lap 15 there wasn't any reason to pit. Of course, that does trap Randy a lap down. Looks like Randy's going into the pits.
So yeah, Randy Cosno comes down into pit lane. Let's not forget the pit lane opens 1 lap later for cars who are lapped down. So he wasn't able to come in at the same time as everyone else. But for Randy Cosno, he still has hope because let's not forget, with these single file restarts, you can work your way through the field, through cautions, through traffic. And if you are in the right position at the right time, you can get some wave rounds on this racetrack. However, to counteract that, because this lap is so long and cautions are such a frequency here at Pocono, it does mean that unless drivers put it into the wall, get penalties speeding down pit lane or whatever, it's very difficult to get drivers put 1 lap down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's early in the race. We'll see how that strategy plays out. And the single file restarts definitely shake things up compared to what we normally see in the double file. So this series gets the drivers the chance to come up with some interesting strategies that they don't normally get to use.
So to reset the field for you as the lights are out on the pace car, we're going to go back to green flag racing with 16 laps shown complete here at the Pocono 250. David Ward is your race leader in the number 69 Team Afterburn machine, with Jonathan Goetz in the 08 Purple Fury in second, Sean Stroud in the 3rd position, Ryan Norton in 4th, David Stowe in 5th, Pierre Bourdon in 6th, Julian Pham in 7th, Dave Jinks in 8th, Philippe Lambert in 9th, and Håkan Politsna rounding out your top 10. Chat going on between the drivers sat under the caution, probably just chewing the fat and joking about randomness. Jonathan Goetz is going to be coming round turn number 3 with Jonathan Goetz poising himself, ready to try and pounce as they bring it down past start finish line. Pace car, he's going to make the turn down pit lane just about now. David Ward immediately on the gas pedal, and we are back to green flag racing here at Pocono.
Yeah, great start by David Ward. Jonathan was looking like he was trying to jump in there, but David's a little too sly for that.
So as they come through turn number 1, David Ward is still your race leader. Jonathan Goetz is still sat in the 2nd position, with Sean Stroud in 3rd, Ryan Norton in 4th, and they have already pulled themselves a 6/10 of a second gap to David Stowe in 5th position, with Pierre Bourdon in 6th, Julian Pham in 7th, coming under a bit of pressure from Dave Jinks in the number 76 machine for that 7th position. And then Philippe Lambert is in 9th spot. Håkan Politsna in 10th. We've got a nice three-way battle going on. 7th, 8th and 9th on the racetrack. Philippe Lambert having to get all the way off the throttle coming through turn number 3. That has allowed a little bit of breathing space for Dave Jinks. As you see though, Lambert still looking close to come down through turn number 1. Not going to be able to make a move down the inside just yet. As the ahead of him, you have Pierre Bourdon putting all sorts of pressure on David Sturridge. You see a battle for the lead change. Here comes Jonathan Goat down to the inside through turn number 2. Is David Ward going to let him take it this time by? Easily done there. Jonathan Goat back to the race lead in the 08 car by getting a little bit loose on exit. That's going to allow David Ward to try and run the high side through turn number 3. Oh, so slippy on that high side, but David Ward looks as though he's almost ready to get the job done, and again, it looks like David Ward almost into the wall, just as at Dover last week. Those two just coming together, and David Ward, I think, had the slightest of contact with the wall, but he's put himself now down into the 4th spot, lost position to Sean Stroud and Brian Norton.
Oh, that was a great display of driving right there, both by Jonathan Goak and David Ward to keep control of his car, not causing a caution to get into anybody. So that was really great. David Ward spinning into the wall.
And as he just had a little bit of damage, I was about to report that, just losing it through turn number 2, like Monica Clara Brand did earlier on. I believe that we are back under caution here for the second time at Pocono. David Ward bringing out our second caution of the day. I need to have a look back. I believe that he had himself a little bit of damage with that contact with Jonathan Goak just that lap previous. And I'm having a look back now, and it does look as though, if I rotate the angle on the car, it does look as though he had himself a little bit of left-hand side sidepod damage as he tried to turn himself into turn number 2. The car just snapped loose on him, and disappointment for David Ward there, yet again, but a great drive up until that point. But let's go back to the incident with himself and Jonathan Goat. Coming into turn number 3, it looked as though Jonathan Goat got loose on the exit of turn 2. That allowed David Ward to continue his run on the high side into turn number 3, and it just looked as though David was starting to snap a little bit. At the same time, Jonathan Goak started to brush up into him, upper lane, into the second lane, and it just looked as though they both wanted to fight for the same piece of real estate. David Ward managed to keep it out the wall, but got himself a little bit of sidepod damage, and disappointment there for David Ward in the number 69.
Yeah, and there was no way he could have known. I doubt his crew was able to tell him that he had some damage there to, take it easy on the car. So that was just, there was no way for him to know that something like that could have happened to him in the turn.
So pit lane is open this time by for drivers. I expect not many people will be opting to take fuel and tyres this time, as we've only done about 3 laps under the green flag conditions. See Jonathan Goat just angling himself a little bit. Is he going to? Yes, he is going to make that turn down pit lane. So we are going to have ourselves our second round of pit stops here at the Pocono 250. Ryan Norton also comes down. Sean Stroud stays out on the racetrack. So split strategies here between drivers. Jonathan Goat comes down. Ryan Norton comes down. David Stode comes down. Pierre Bourdon comes down. Everyone apart from, I believe, Sean Stroud and Philippe Lambert stays out on the racetrack. For Philippe Lambert, though, he is not going to be able to lead laps this time as he did at Dover.
Yeah, but he certainly likes to stay out on those pit stops, doesn't he?
Ryan Norton beats Jonathan Goat on that race out of pit lane, so Ryan Norton moved him up momentarily to the 3rd position behind Sean Stroud and Philippe Lambert. Jonathan Goat down into the 4th spot. Pierre Bourdon is up into 5th. Dave Jinks into 6th, Julian Pham in 7th. David Stowe had a slow pit stop there. He'll be back in the 8th position. And then Yves Warner, we haven't talked about him yet today. He will be down in the 9th.
And it looks like Monica Clara Brand is back out on the track, got her car fixed, and although she's running in the 15th spot 3 laps down with Randy Crosno, she's back out on the track and going to make another attempt. Hopefully they've made some adjustments to her car and she can kind of settle in and get some laps in.
Yeah, so for Monica Clara Brand, she is currently sat in the 15th spot, showing 3 laps down. Only David Ward is in pit lane, is ahead of her in the 14th spot. Only Randy Crosno in the number 4 Aero X Racing machine is behind her. But these two drivers are going to be fighting for position because they are both 3 laps down. They are both on the racetrack. So interesting to see their battle. With Sean Stroud, however, with pretty much everyone pitting behind him, do you think he's lost out on strategy a little bit here?
I don't know. Sean always been a really good racer as far as strategy. I think he's just looking for the track position and may want to log some laps out in front because, you know, Jonathan's going to have to. He probably likes that little battle between him and Jonathan, or maybe he's got a little payback there. Wants to get out in front and keep Jonathan from passing him again.
And we're going to bring David Ward into the commentary booth. He was our in-race reporter at Dover. Might as well be the same again. David, it looked as though you got yourself a little bit of side pod damage in that incident with Jonathan Goke through turn number 3, as you're both battling for the same piece of real estate. Difficult incident for you there, and then you just got yourself loose on turn 2, so I'm guessing you're trying to find some balance in the car.
Yeah, it was after the initial contact with the wall, after the contact with Jonathan, car felt great into turn 1, and then yeah, just got a little bit loose and not a lot I could do about it really, but the guys have fixed the car now, so we're going to see if we can actually finish this race and just bring it on home, I think.
And this is your first time at Pocono, a difficult racetrack, this 2.5 mile tricky triangle. Just before we go back to green flag racing, how tough is it for you in the race car today?
Yeah, really tough. The final turn, turn 3, is understeer city. You definitely have to get off the gas in there. Turn 2 is okay. But yeah, turn 3 is the big balls one.
So we're going to go back to green flag racing any second now. We're going to take David Ward back up to his friends and teammates. So we'll talk to him later on. Meanwhile, Sean Stroud from Set the Field from You is your race leader in the number 21 Watcher Designed Team Afterburn machine with Philippe Lambert in that 02 distinctive peak motor oil machine. Is currently sat in second. Ryan Norton third. Jonathan Goke in fourth. Pierre Bordeaux rounding out your top 5. And as you see, Sean Stroud waiting for the pace car to make that turn down pit lane once again. And as he does so, be waiting. And as the pace car makes a move down, we are back to green flag racing.
It's going to be interesting to see how long it's going to take for this battle to ensue between Jonathan Goke and Ryan Norton for third position here. As we've seen earlier today.
Not quite.
Yeah, almost, because Jonathan is not going to be content to sit in the 4th spot for any length of time. Looks like Ryan Norton's going to go ahead and try to make a pass on Monica Claire Brand right there.
They're both going to go past as they come into turn number 2. Monica Claire Brand just getting out the throttle a little bit. That allows both of these drivers to get past. Jonathan Goke currently sat in the 4th spot with Ryan Norton in 3rd. Philippe Lambert holding his own for the moment in that 2nd position as Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goke start to battle it out on the racetrack. Sean Stroud is your race leader.
Yeah, and Ryan and Jonathan clearly have more speed in turn 3 than Philippe Lambert, so they instantaneously right up on his back wing, and we're going to see a pass here.
So Jonathan Goke still sat in the 4th position in that Purple Fury machine, qualified in 2nd today for this race. Jonathan Goke's had a difficult season at the parts, but he's managed to get some of his racing together to get himself some good finishes. He really is looking racy with Ryan Norton, as they both have managed to get around Philippe Lambert in the battle for what is now the 2nd position. You see Jonathan Goke looking to the inside as they come off corner number 3, trying to get that slipstream down past Ryan Norton. As they come down the front straightaway, he gets himself a wing inside as they come into turn number 1. Norton just throttling back, gives Goke position, but he gets loose there, and Ryan Norton going round the outside. These two are going to be carrying on their battle as they come down the back straightaway in towards turn number 2. Ryan Norton dodged himself a bullet there.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Jonathan's really being aggressive, and that's giving Sean Stroud a little room out front, which is what you don't want to do. Is you don't want to let Sean Stroud be loose out front, because he'll definitely put some air in between you and him if you allow him to do that.
Meanwhile, further back in the field, there's a great battle going on at the moment. Dave Jinks is trying to hunt down Pierre Bordeaux in that number 92 machine in the battle for the 5th position. Eric Hunter currently sat in the 7th spot. He has got himself a good distance clear of Pocono in 8th. However, he's got John Ailes looking down to his inside as they come into turn number 1. John Ailes just managed to make the move done on that SingSync.de racing machine. At the same time, his teammate, Thomas Foley, he managed to get himself past. And David Ward, he's looking racy as well. He's scored 1 lap down at the moment. He wants to try and get himself as far through this field as possible to try and take a wave around if there is another caution. And we're looking back. Julian Pham, he has, I believe, had himself a black flag because he's just come down into pit lane. Some very slow times for Julian Pham there. I'm not sure if he was involved in that incident earlier on. We'll try and get a look back at that. Meanwhile, up front, Jonathan Goat and Ryan Norton are continuing their ding-dong battle for the second position. And this is allowing Sean Stroud to start running away in that number 21 Watson design machine. The gap last time by was 1.4 seconds. Ryan Norton, Jonathan Goat need to start working together if they're going to try and catch up Sean Stroud in the battle for the race lead.
Well, and you're seeing two drivers, two completely different styles of driving in lines. Jonathan Goat clearly has a better line through turn 3, but Ryan Norton's able to hold the high side, and Jonathan not able on that last lap to hold the high side on turn number 1 like we've seen Ryan do and keep up the speed. So it's kind of interesting, the two different strategies and how those kind of work against each other.
Jonathan Goat there got a very, very good run through turn number 1. As they come through turn 2, the tunnel turn, it looks like he's going to be closing dramatically. Can he use the fact that he's been so strong in turn number 3 to his advantage as they get off the throttle a bit, drive it down towards that inside lane? It does look as though Goat is closing that gap back up to Ryan Norton in the battle for the second position. But meanwhile, the gap is now up to over 2 seconds between Norton in the number 84 machine in second and Sean Stroud in the number 21 in first.
Well, that's what we talked about. You just do not want to give Sean Stroud that much air because he will definitely run away with it. And we're seeing another example of that today. Once he gets in his stride, once he gets in his groove, he's just gone.
It does look as though this lap, Ryan Norton's been able to respond to Jonathan Goat in that 08 purple fuel machine coming through turn number 3 yet again. And for Goat, it does look as though he's very good until he gets up to about 0.3 of a second behind. Then he hits that brick wall where the aerodynamics really kick in. Sean Stroud is coming up to put another lap, I believe, on the 88 machine of Yves Warner in about a lap or so's time. Yves is struggling here today in this race. His lap times haven't been to the standard that you'd expect him to be. And we have to say, simply put, Yves Warner really is struggling.
Yeah, that's unusual. Of course, I don't know how much time he's got under the new conditions with the new car, and that's probably what we're experiencing right here. In the meantime, you've got Eric Hunter looking really racy. Just put a pass on Dave Jinks for 6th position and closing the gap on Pierre Bourdon for the 5th position rather rapidly. This is kind of an interesting, looks like Eric has found the throttle pedal on his car.
Yeah, Eric Hunter in the number 99 machine doing a great job there, sat in the 6th position, closing down Pierre Bourdon in the number 92. And let's not forget, Pierre Bourdon is one of the more difficult drivers to try and find a pass on. Philippe Lambert, I have to say, in that 02 car made a very good call there, because he's only fallen back to the 4th spot. Yes, he is now 6.8 seconds behind the race leader, but it doesn't look as though Bourdon, Hunter or Jinks have anything for him at the moment.
No, I think you've kind of got 2 to 3 distinct races going on here. Obviously, Sean Stroud's not racing anything but himself. You've got Norton and Goat.
So I will just have to say, Jay Jinks getting very, very loose off turn number 3. That caused him a little bit of a momentum block as he was trying to close back down the number 99 of Eric Hunter. But you are right, Sean Stroud is currently in a league of his own. Ryan Norton, Jonathan Goat in 2nd and 3rd position. They have got themselves a good battle going on. And then 4th all the way through to the 7th position. Great battle going on between these 4, Doyle.
Yeah, they're doing it in stints. They're closing up, they're trying to pass and moving back. So a lot of very patient racing now. You know, it's always at the start of the race you see a lot of people getting real racy, and at about this point, lap 33, people kind of settling in and waiting for opportunities more than so. I'm actually I think this race is going very well. I expected more cautions than we've had. We've got a lot of people being very patient and working with their cars really well, especially on these new tires.
Eric Hunter getting very slow into turn number 1. This gave the opportunity for Dave Jinks to close all the way to the back of him. Wasn't able to make the pass into turn number 2. So he dropped back once again to about 3 car lengths behind. Eric Hunter dodged himself a bullet there. But what that has done is allowed Pierre Bourdon to really pull away from these two drivers as he continues to hunt down Philippe Lambert in the 0-2 car in the battle for the 4th position. Meanwhile, Jonathan Gook is back on the attack from Ryan Norton. The gap between Norton in 2nd, Sean Stroud in 1st is now up to 2.5 seconds. Jonathan Goak's trying to get himself around Ryan Norton. Perhaps he's feeling that he could be faster, try and close that gap to Sean Stroud if he can just get around. But Goak and Norton, no love lost between these two drivers as they come through turn 3 once again. Goak getting a very, very good run here. Can he maintain this down the front straight away? It's looking as though he's going to be able to look down once again to that inside lane to come down towards turn number 1. But don't forget that Norton was able to keep the gap on the outside last time, and it just looks as though Jonathan Goak had to throttle out a little bit just to keep his car a little bit safe, and that allowed Norton to keep the 2nd position.
Yeah, I think Ryan Norton's running a much better line than he did previously. Trying to, he's not a blocking type racer, but he definitely has command over that outside line a little more than Jonathan does. Jonathan definitely able to get his car down onto the apron a lot better than Ryan. So we'll see how that plays out. But so far, Ryan's been able to hold him off.
Here we go again, down the front straightaway. Will Goak push himself down to the inside line this time by? Doesn't look as though he's going to do so. No. If he's going to try to make the move, he's got to get himself alongside a lot quicker. And just looking at the throttle telemetry there, it did look as though Goak just got himself out the throttle once again. And it almost looks like he's content to stay behind Ryan Norton, as the gap between themselves and Sean Stroud has kind of stabilised over the last couple of laps.
Well, it could be they're just trying to run some laps and trying to do something with Sean Stroud. I don't know if people working together is going to help that at this moment, but there is a possibility they're just working together, logging laps now.
So to run through your field, as we have over 1/3 of the race shown complete here at the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Sean Stroud is your race leader. He is catching up Yves Warner to put him 2 laps down, as Yves Warner has finally picked up the pace in that number 88 machine. Sean Stroud, it looks as though he's going to be able to try and make a pass into turn number 3, this time by getting very, very close to Yves Warner. Is he going to try and work the high side? It looks like he will indeed try and do that. Always a dangerous position to try and do so. Perhaps he's trying to cut in underneath, and yes, you see moving down to the inside lane. Yves Warner does not want to go 2 laps down, so he's going to be fighting that position. In the meantime, that is going to allow Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goak to gain a little bit of time on them, as they did about 6/100ths of a second last time by. Sean Stroud finding it difficult to get away past Yves Warner. This time he has a good run coming off turn number 1, side by side down the short straightaway into turn number 2, and it looks as though finally Sean Stroud is going to get the job done on Yves Warner.
Yeah, that allowed the 2nd and 3rd place cars to close in a little bit. Once again, Sean Stroud gets by Yves Warner, and down the way he goes.
So, Sean Stroud in the number 21 machine, being dominant in this race today. In that number 21, Watch Designs car. In the 2nd position, Ryan Norton is still engaging in that battle with Jonathan Goak. It does look, for the moment, Jonathan Goak does not want to put too much pressure on Ryan Norton. Perhaps he's saving his tyres, perhaps he's saving his fuel, perhaps he just doesn't like that low line into turn number 1, where he constantly gets himself such a good advantage. But Ryan Norton, let's not forget, he qualified down in the 16th position at the start of this race. He's worked himself all the way up into the 2nd position. So for Ryan Norton, he really is our hard charger of the race so far.
Yeah, so far today. And you've got to look at this too. Back in the back, Dave Jinks has managed to get by Eric Hunter for the 6th position. Then on top of that, David Ward, even though he's scored a lap down, has managed to get by both Eric Hunter and Dave Jinks, and is closing on Philippe Lambert.
Pierre Bourdon has managed to get himself around Philippe Lambert in the battle for the 4th position. Pierre Bourdon in that number 92 machine has got himself up to this 4th spot after qualifying in the 9th position. So a good race for Pierre Bourdon in that number 92 car. He's going to get himself some good points here today if he can keep that up in the number 92 car. Behind him in the 5th spot, Philippe Lambert. He had some very good strategy to get himself into the top 5 after qualifying down in the 14th position. Stayed out on the last caution. That gave him track position, and although he's gone from 2nd down to 5th, good call there by Philippe Lambert.
Yeah, and a lot of these racers, 4th place on back, I mean, I think they know unless there's a mistake being made, Sean Stroud, Ryan Norton, Jonathan Gook, they probably don't have enough car to catch these guys. So, hey, you know, why not collect the points? Why not, I've got 4th position, 5th position sewn up. Just keep your position, run your car, stay on the track, and they're going to pick up some good points.
See David Ward there. He just put himself around Philippe Lambert. He's trying to charge his way through the field. In the 6th position, Dave Jinks coming under a ton of pressure from Eric Hunter, but at the same time he is putting pressure on Philippe Lambert in the battle for the 5th spot. As you see, they're coming down the front straight away as a complete lap number 41. Dave Jinks, he qualified himself in the 6th spot. That is currently where he stands. Eric Hunter, he started in the 13th position, moved himself all the way up into the 7th spot. So good drive there by Eric Hunter in his Afterburner IndyCar Series. He's looking down to the inside of Dave Jinks as they come down into turn number 2. He's got himself alongside Dave Jinks, giving him the position there. So Eric Hunter moves up into the 6th spot. And Lambert into the wall there. And I believe we are just staying caution free for the moment. There's no one behind for the moment time being. Can Philippe Lambert bring the car down to pit lane? Will we have to go under caution? Philippe Lambert going very, very slowly on the exit of turn number 3. He brings the car down to pit lane. So Philippe Lambert, after having such a good middle stint here, ruining it. And he's going to be dropping himself into pit lane now, trying to get himself some repairs to his race car. Get himself some Sunoco race gas.
Thomas Snow getting squirrely right there. Almost lost it.
So action-packed moment. As always, when one thing happens, everything happens. As John Ailes has moved himself up into the 7th position in at number 14, Old Spice machine. Good solid drive there by John Ailes. And Thomas Kroll in the 8th position. He's managed to get himself now a 7-second gap over Håkan Belitsner in the number 59 machine, who's currently sat in 9th. Philippe Lambert, he's just coming out of pit lane at the moment. He is going to feed in, by the look of it, exactly one lap down. To see Jonathan Gope there. He's looking to the inside of Ryan Norton once again. Through turn number 2, Ryan Norton oh so close to the wall, and Jonathan Goke is trying to make those moves, but they just are not sticking, as Norton is just so competent on that high line.
Yeah, that's amazing, this car, because normally you wouldn't think you'd be able to hold it on the high line, but boy, he's really holding that car on that, and that's really got to be frustrating Jonathan Goke right now, because that's not something you usually see.
So the gap between Sean Stroud and Ryan Norton is now up to 2.8 seconds. And Doyle, do you just think that Sean Stroud, you know, galloping away into the sunset, like we saw him do at part of this race last year, when himself and Jean Paquin had a great battle, because Sean Stroud has disappeared into the sunset? Do you think that just Jonathan Goke is now fighting for the 2nd spot?
I think so, and I think both Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goke are hoping for a caution right now to kind of bunch the field back up, because they no doubt have enough car for Sean Stroud, as long as they can get close enough to him where they can keep him in the draft. But I don't think there's much hope unless Sean gets held up by backmarker traffic.
There was a little bit of a moment there when Ryan Norton got slowed down as he was trying to get himself around David Stowe in the number 96 machine. That allowed Jonathan Goke to close right back onto the rear of Ryan Norton as he himself gets a little bit loose through turn number 2. You see there, Yves Warner, he is going to go down a lap to Ryan Norton very soon. Julian Pham, very slow on the inside line of turn number 3. The field's starting to bunch back up together in parts on this racetrack as cars are beginning to go laps down. Yves Warner is currently scored as 2 laps down on the racetrack. He is literally about 4/7 of a second now ahead of Ryan Norton. And for Norton and Jonathan Goke, they want to get around Yves Warner as quickly as possible if they're going to have any chance of stabilising that gap for Sean Stroud.
Well, we saw what happened. Sean Stroud tried to get around Eastwater, so we're going to have similar battle going on between Ryan Norton and Eves, and I think Jonathan's got in the back of his mind he wants to take advantage of that. But right now, I think Sean Stroud ought to be thanking Philippe Lambert when he got into the wall for keeping that car on the track and getting into the pit lane safely and not causing that caution to come out.
So it looks as though Eves Warner is still staying ahead of Ryan Norton. Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goke having their battle for the second position. And Eves Warner could come into play here. He could very easily, depending on when these two drivers try and get past, make it difficult for one driver, and then the other driver can have the opportunity to overtake. Or if he gets in between them, that could allow Ryan Norton to just eke out a gap for a little bit. As you see, Unifam really coming into play now. As Unifam running in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, so close there to causing contact with Eves Warner. This is going to allow Ryan Norton to have a look down to the inside of Eves Warner as they come down into turn number one. Will Jonathan Goke be able to follow him down? Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to get it done too well, but he just manages to cut up in front of Eves Warner there, and the battle between these two completely undisturbed.
Absolutely. That was an interesting pass. I was expecting Eves to put up a little bit more of a fight, but in this particular case, I think he's just going to stay right on Jonathan Goke's rear wing if he can.
Caution out, third caution of the day here at Pocono Speedway with 47 laps shown complete. And I'm just having a look back to see who it is, and it is, Eric Hunter in the number 99 machine, after working himself all the way back into the 5th position, just getting high into the wall, and very luckily no one else managed to cause contact with him, as Eric Hunter in the number 99, the Venture Bros Adult Swim machine, just causing our third caution of the day, pretty much at the halfway point. And for Sean Stroud, this is going to be a little bit of a relief, because he was going to have to come down pit lane before Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goke.
Yeah, so it's bittersweet. He had all that lead and everything, so now the field's going to bunch up. They're going to pit. They're going to get fresh tires, and we're going to have another. Every time we do a caution, the great thing about it for the action part is now we've got another battle going on up front, which will last however many laps it lasts. But it's definitely exciting racing when this happens.
So we're pretty much half the race complete. Half the race will be complete at the flag. Sean Stroud is your race leader, with Ryan Norton currently sat in the 2nd position. Jonathan Goke in 3rd. Pierre Bordeaux in the 4th spot, with John Ailes in 5th. Dave Jinks in 6th. Thomas Kroll in 7th. Joachim Politzner in 8th. Eric Hunter in 9th. And David Ward managing to move himself back into the top 10. Let's see, all these drivers should come down pit lane this time by, with Sean Stroud leading him down, as he indeed does. Let's see, all the lap cars, they're going to have to stay out for the moment, but Sean Stroud leading the field into pit lane. Pretty much everyone is coming in behind him. Philippe Lambert, he might be able to get the wave around. Let's not forget, he had to come and get himself some fresh tyres and some fuel. All these other drivers staying out on the racetrack are scored laps down, as we're going to be looking for the race off pit road here. Sean Stroud is currently scored as your race leader as he gets himself into his pit box. 4 fresh tyres and some Sunoco race gas for Sean Stroud. And Ryan Norton gets out ahead, and so does Jonathan Goke. Slow stop there for Sean Stroud, relegating him from the 1st into the 3rd position. Just looking to see whether or not he was slow coming in. But let's not forget, as I was saying, Ryan Norton and Jonathan Goke came in on that 2nd caution. Sean Stroud did not, and I think that was the difference between him coming out from 1st and into the 3rd spot where he sits now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there was probably 3 or 4 gallons that Sean Stroud had to take that Jonathan Goke and Ryan Norton did not. So that's probably why they came out ahead.
So to reset the field, your top 3 now is Ryan Norton in the 1st position, with Jonathan Goke in 2nd. Sean Stroud shuffled him back into the 3rd spot, and looking further back behind him on the race off pit road, Dave Jinks has managed to move himself into the 4th position, with Thomas Kroll in 5th, John Ailes in 6th, and then Pierre Bourdon, he drops from 4th all the way down into the 7th position, with Joachim Politzner in 8th, and then Eric Hunter managing to get himself just back onto the racetrack. And I suppose it is that time once again where we say hello to our good friend Randy Crosno.
Hey, Randy.
Come on, bet ask me. How disappointed am I?
Oh, Randy, how disappointed are you that you're in the booth with us yet again today?
Not disappointed I'm in the booth, just disappointed my lack of talent and driving skills didn't let me run more laps here.
And I have to say that Jonathan Goke trying to be considered just for a moment there, coming down pit lane, just putting himself down, as I think he got unsighted with Philippe Lambert coming down into pit lane, didn't realise that Ryan Norton was actually the driver he needs to be paying attention with. Jonathan Goke almost got himself shuffled back to the rear of the field. David Ward is going to be able to get himself a lap back, as does David Strode, Julian Pham, and Yves Warner. So this will put David Ward back onto the lead lap for Philippe Lambert, Yves Warner, and Julian Pham. They're going to be showing now only one lap down, but David Ward needs a caution in the next 5 laps.
Well, David Ward, as he's shown before, Ryan Norton so far gets the Hard Charger award, but if we had a second place on that, David Ward would definitely be the one. He went after that terrible crash he had there, got into the pits, his crew made some adjustments and to fix his car, and he's back out there now on the lead lap. He was going through the cars, so I expect to see David Ward making his way up through the field.
So the lights are on the pace car. We're going to go back to Green Flag Racing with 52 laps scored complete here at the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Will Vincent, Doyle Johnson, and once again Randy Crosno now in the booth. And first half of this race was really exciting. We're coming into our second half, and the battle between Ryan Norton, Jonathan Goke, and Sean Stroud surely going to continue. Pace car currently making his way through turn number 3. To update you on the rest of the field, Dave Jinks in 4th, Thomas Kroll in 5th, John Ailes in 6th, Pierre Bourdon in 7th, Joachim Politzner in 8th, Eric Hunter 9th, David Ward, he gets his lap back. He is now scored in the 10th position as the pace car getting ready to make his way down pit road once again. Ryan Norton in control of the field. Green flag.
Look at Jonathan Goke making his move on the outside drag race down the front stretch. And Sean Stroud looks like Jonathan Goke's going to win that battle.
Oh, so close. Jonathan Goke was so close to being clear there. Too wide into turn 1. That was close. And you see now Jonathan Goke looking down to the inside into turn number 2. And, Ryan Norton, he's going to be hanging out on the outside line. Will Jonathan Goke get to take the lead into turn number 2? It looks though he can keep it down this time by. But Ryan Norton's still running the high line. Jonathan Goke is not going to have to hold it all the way down low. He's not going to be able to get him done. And he's had to get all the way out the throttle there. And it's going to be a drag race once again.
Yes, look at that. Woo.
Great racing here.
Racing.
Great racing between Jonathan Goke and Ryan Norton as they come into turn number 1 once again. Who's going to be able to get it done? Jonathan Goke, almost clear, but we are still too wide. There's a little bit of contact. That finally allows Ryan Norton to get clear. They've now got a lap of traffic. Julian Pham is being closed down very, very quickly. He needs to pick a line and give Ryan Norton a little bit of room potentially. As he does, he moves down to the inside. That allows the top 3 drivers to just cycle through there. And David Ward, he's going to now have to hang on for being on the lead lap for dear life. He came in as soon as the green flag dropped. He is only 2 seconds from being put a lap down once again.
Sean Stroud seems to be quite content to not get tangled up front there with that battle between first and second. He's going to ride behind here. He's waiting for somebody to make a horrible mistake, and he will capitalize on that.
Yes, the part of Jason Dunphy at Dover 1 week ago is now being played by Sean Stroud in the number 21 Watch Your Design machine. Jonathan Goke, they went, too wide for pretty much a lap and a half here at Pocono. Don't ever say that Pocono is a track that produces boring racing in the IndyCar. Jonathan Goke getting it a little bit squirrely off turn number 3. That gives Norton a little bit of breathing space once again, as they are both closing down David Ward. He could go down one lap again here at the Dover 250, Dover even the Pocono 250. Dave Jinks, he is still in the 4th position, with John Ailes in the 5th spot. Thomas Kroll has lost position to Pierre Bordeaux as they come down the back straightaway. He's trying to look, see whether he can get back underneath him into turn number 2, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. And then Håkan Policeman is in 8th, Eric Hunter in 9th, and David Ward, we talked about him, he is now less than 1 second behind, going a lap down again in 10th. And I tell you what, it looks as though this is really helping out Ryan Norton. David Ward is pretty much just supplying a tow to Ryan Norton. This has enabled him to get himself about 3/10 of a second clear. Jonathan Goat, he's dropped himself
from the inside.
Up. Jonathan Goat moves himself up into the high lane. He's getting himself a little bit tight. This gives Sean Stroud the inside line coming into turn number 2. And you see that Goat just throttling back. As you see Ryan Norton, he's trying to look down to the inside of David Ward. He does not want to go down a lap, I don't think. Does that pink car. The number 69 is coming to turn number 3. Oh, so close. Oh! Almost into the wall again for David Ward. But it looks as though Ryan Norton is going to get himself clear as they come down the front straightaway into turn number 1. 56th lap shown complete. There's David Ward. I think he's just holding that high side line beautifully there. Oh, he's going to be very careful. He almost got himself into the grey and into the wall. I won't do the pink and brown jokes just yet. You can see that. However, next week I'll talk about that later.
Looks like Sean and Jonathan got into it, and
yes.
Sean went down the pit road. He's going to get a speeding penalty, but he did save it.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I noticed Sean just disappeared off the racetrack, and Jonathan is way back there.
It looks as though coming through turn number 3 at the completion of lap number 57, Jonathan Goat just getting himself onto the back of Sean Stroud. I believe there's a little bit of netcode there. Goat somehow managed to save it. However, Sean Stroud, just as he flicked the car to the right, he kept it just like you did, Randy. But he's got himself a speeding penalty there.
Yeah, Sean did a smarter thing. Once he was going down pit road, he was able to slow down and actually serve his penalty at that point. I went through it, had to come back around, and then serve it.
So Ryan Norton is now your race leader. The gap between himself and Jonathan Goat in the 08 machine is now up to about 2 seconds, as we have now got 59 laps scored complete. Dave Jinks moved himself up into the 3rd spot with John Ailes in 4th. Pierre Bordeaux is rounding out your top 5. And this is a bit of relief now for Ryan Norton in the number 84 machine.
Oh yeah, because his competition is now, you know, several positions.
John just put it in the wall. It crashed.
Caution, 4th caution of the day here at Pocono Raceway, and just working around the high line on Monica Clara Brand, getting very close. He actually almost got himself down into that inside lane, leaving Monica very little room to go. Monica Clara Brand is, yes, scored 3 laps down in the number 70, in the number 77 Livestrong machine. But Jonathan Goat, his car, trying to get it back down to pit lane. I believe also Håkan Policeman has got himself a lot of damage there to his race car. So as Jonathan Goat was in the wall, Håkan Policeman in the number 59 machine, just getting himself tagged on the rear of Julian Pham, and that grass is oh so difficult to get through, and it looks as though he just got himself a little tap to that right front. He'll be able to get away with that as he's now spinning it around again in that number 59 machine. He's got to be very careful because he's got Jonathan Goat desperate to get to the pits behind him.
Yeah, and you've got that Monica and Jonathan. Jonathan pinching down a little bit and just got his left rear wheel right inside Monica's right front there. That's too bad.
And not only is that going to be disappointing for Jonathan Goat in terms of this race, it's also going to be disappointing for Jonathan Goat in terms of the championship. Let's not forget, Jonathan Goat is currently your leader in the Oval Championship with 4 starts, leading the championship with 124 points. So this is going to make it difficult for him to gain some serious points. Although he's got a little bit of a buffer to drivers behind, with some drivers not making an appearance today, he wanted good points.
Yeah, and from what we've seen, hopefully his damage isn't too severe. Maybe he can get some repairs and get back out there on the track. Because now you have Sean Stroud scored a lap down. So we're going to see what his strategy is to try to get himself through the field, and hopefully at the next caution he can get the wave around. He's got a long way to go from 12th position up to the first position where you have Ryan Norton. It's the next round of pit stops.
Well, with Ryan Norton coming down to pit lane, Dave Jenkins coming down into pit lane. Having a look to see if John Ale stays out. He comes down pit lane as well, as does Pierre Bourdon and Thomas Kroll. So it looks so all drivers who were on the lead lap have come down pit lane. This will give Eric Hunter, David Ward, and Jonathan Goke and Sean Stroud. As Sean Stroud, I cannot believe that. Jonathan Goke back into the wall, just clipping. Oh, under caution, just clipping the curb there, trying to get himself back from chasing back. And even though there's not a jet dry, it's Trayton Montoya in the Daytona 500 this year.
Absolutely.
So Jonathan Goke's race is done. He is going to literally be scored 15th in this race. And big disappointment there for Jonathan Goke, because his day is now over.
Yeah, Jonathan Goke had a really tough day. I mean, he's made contact with almost everything out there. I think it's lucky that you're not wearing a number, Will, or he might have come into the booth and got you too.
Conspiracytheory.com, provided by Doyle Johnson.
Today's race is brought to you by the color yellow.
And let's have one more look back on the incident that pretty much became prelude to this caution. Sean Stroud coming through turn number 3. Coming through turn number 3, he had Jonathan Goke right behind him. It just looked as though there was the tiniest of taps between those two drivers. Jonathan Goke managed to slide it, keep it on the racetrack. Sean Stroud, he somehow, the car was spinning all the way to the left. He saved it and then snapped to the right, and he saved it yet again. Yes, he entered the pit lane at 132 miles an hour, but that was definitely one of the best saves I have seen in the Afterburn IndyCar Series ever. As you're looking at it on board now, dominant car control there by Sean Stroud. I think there's very few drivers who have the ability to do what he just did.
But you got to remember too, with the new tire model, the grip that you're getting and the control you get in the car is much more than it used to be. I mean, coming down pit lane at full speed, coming on some of these was really difficult in the previous tire model, because your tires would be locking up. The new tire model has enough grip that it actually behaves more like a real car, like what you saw there with Sean, where you can actually gain traction back. It's not a slide and it's over. Really good way to take advantage of that new tire model for Sean.
Oh yeah, definitely. And great save by him. I think he wins the Save of the Race award very easy there. Drivers who are getting themselves a wave around from the top: Eric Hunter, David Ward, Philippe Lambert, David Stowe, Sean Stroud, Yves Warner. They are all going to be put back onto the lead lap. Joaquin Politner, he has been unfortunately trapped one lap down, so after a great start to the race for him, he is now currently scored in the 12th position as pace car has the lights out. Ryan Norton currently going through turn number 2. Randy, this is going to be a very close end to the race, as by mile pretty much at the edge of a fuel window as well. So if this race goes green to the end, we might see a little bit of fuel saving as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Ryan decides to stay out in the front, or if he maybe let someone go by and let them lead for a while. He can save gas, because you're right, it looks like they're on the edge for fuel window.
For Ryan Norton, I think his biggest advantage is he has got let's have a look back, 8 cars between himself and Sean Stroud in 10th. So that means that he can pretty much get himself into the front set, and Sean Stroud and David Ward, who's currently sat in the 7th position, have to get around all of these slower cars to get themselves even into position to close them down, as pace car is in, green flag in the air. And Ryan Norton now, if he just charges away into the sunset for the next 5 laps or so, he can then have the opportunity to try and save some fuel. So I think if he needs to, charge off for the first part of this stint, and then let's see whether or not he can get himself into position where he can throttle back later on in the run.
Well, and it's probably not going to take too long because David Ward is already charging up. He's ready to take off his second position before the lap is even up. He's already charging right past Eric Hunter and Pierre Bourdon. He's going to be into the 5th position, and he's like he's got a rocket on the back of that car.
2 wide ahead of him with Pierre Bourdon, and no, Thomas Crow into the wall there. Staying under green, Thomas Crow trying to bring it down, and oh my God, so close there. He's won it, almost running into the side of Thomas Crow. That was one of the closest escapes I have seen. This enables David Ward to get himself into the 4th spot without even doing much work at all. So Ryan Norton, beware. David Ward is coming for you. John Ailes currently sat in the 3rd position with Dave Jinks in 2nd. But we need to take a look back at Thomas Crow there, coming into pit lane. It looked as though that number 92 machine of Pierre Bourdon, just as they came into turn number 3 and 4, 2 wide, and you just see a little bit of side point damage there to Thomas Crow on the left. Then he gets himself spun into the tyres, into the safety barrier, and then he tried to pull the car down. Monica Clairbrand just avoiding him by a matter of a foot. And then Yves Warner again having to get off the throttle himself, and he had to actually drive around him. That was very close there, and Thomas Crow was very close to getting not only himself black flag, but causing a multi-car wreck.
Once again, pit lane savingly. So, contrary to what I had said earlier in the race, it looks like turn 3 is the big winner today for cars getting loose, but they all seem to be able to make it down into the pits before causing that caution to come out. You're absolutely right. I think this new tire model is causing a lot of car control that we did not see before. I mean, that swerve that Yves Warner did right there, I don't think he'd have been able to accomplish that before.
As you just saw on one more replay that you just saw there, great car control by a number of the drivers to reset it for you with 2/3 of the race now shown complete here in the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Ryan Norton is your race leader. The gap between himself and Dave Jinks in 2nd, 1.6 seconds, with John Ailes the 3rd, and 3/10 from 2nd behind. David Ward in the number 69 machine. He is up into the 4th position. 2.5 seconds behind the race leaders. You see there, he's one up on the outside. Where did he come from? Here all of a sudden, he is up into the 4th position, and look out, here comes Yves Warner.
You know, a couple of laps ago, David Ward sort of brushed the wall just a little bit. He may have some slight suspension damage. He lost some time on the track, and as you see, folks are passing him right now.
Looks like he wants a spot back from Yves Warner.
As you see there, Sean Stroud is looking to the high side of David Ward, and these 3 drivers are having a great battle on the racetrack. Now Sean Stroud looking down to the inside of Yves Warner. He's going to get bolted a little bit by David Ward, and he's now going to look to the high side. But then look at that. Sean Stroud.
Oh my God.
Centre of the racetrack. Here comes Yves Warner again on the high side. 2 wides are coming into turn number 1. Let's not make it 3 wide, boys. Look at that, David Ward to the high side. That now bolts Yves Warner a little bit. 2 wide again through turn number 1. They've got lap traffic ahead of him. Oh, John Ailes, Monica Clairbrand, and Dave Jinks. Let's not forget, sorry, John Ailes and Dave Jinks are not laps down. This is the fight for position. But Sean Stroud now managed to get himself around Yves Warner yet again. David Ward, he's looking to the high side of John Ailes. This is the battle for the 3rd position. John Ailes throttling back. David Ward has managed to get himself up into 3rd, put himself a car between himself and Sean Stroud. And now Sean Stroud, he's going to be looking down low into turn number 1, getting himself around the number 14 Old Spice machine of John Ailes. You see that lap traffic ahead of him as well coming out of pit lane. That, I believe, is David Stowe. And this is chaotic on this racetrack as Yves Warner looking down to the inside, got himself a little bit twitchy. So that gives Sean Stroud a little bit of breathing space. Now, David Ward is trying to make a move on Dave Jinks in the battle for the 2nd position with Monica Clairbrand, who is scored 2 laps down ahead of them.
There it goes. Stroud making a move on the inside along with Yves Warner in tow. 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide. Oh, 4 wide almost. Lap traffic.
Yeah, Monica Clairbrand coming off the corner. She gets herself loose. And a great save by Monica Clairbrand, avoiding disaster there, because if there's an incident between those drivers, that would have been a 5-6 car wreck between those drivers there. The Monica Clara Brown falls to the rear of this group, still too wide. And Sean Stroud now looking to the inside of Dave Jinks as they come in through turn number 2. Oh, Dave Jinks into the wall. Dave Jinks into the wall there. Oh, no, not for Dave Jinks. He's having such a great race, and I believe he didn't realise that he was turning into Sean Stroud until the last moment. Tried to correct it, and he just gets himself into the wall. And for Dave Jinks, he's now limping back to pit lane. We are still under green flag conditions here, but that really is going to cost Dave Jinks, as we have got ourselves less than 30 laps to go.
Well, it looks like he might have damage. He might be able to get that repaired. I'm not sure. Another car almost hit him on the inside that had to go around him. So once again, the driver is showing a lot of control, keeping those cautions from coming out, keeping the cars up against the wall.
This is going to be one mental battle between these three drivers. You have David Ward in the number 69 machine, Sean Stroud in the number 21, Ease1 in the number 88. These guys might be teammates, but not today, as they're almost going 3 wide once again into turn number 1. Ease1 on the highest lane, while Sean Stroud was looking to the high side of David Ward, trying to pinch him down into turn number 1, and now Ease1 is doing the comeback. Oh my God!
Oh, right around the outside, look at that.
Oh, just touching the wall. Just touching the wall there, He's going to lose himself a ton of momentum, as the drivers are pretty much 3 wide for a moment there. David Ward had to get right out the throttle, 2 wide as they go through turn number 2. Sean Stroud managed to get the job done over David Ward, but these 3 drivers, as I say, they might be teammates normally, but today these guys are going hammer and tong. Actually, Sean Stroud just managed to get it working on the high side, then himself had to get a little bit of momentum lost to him. Meanwhile, Ease1 is the big loser in all of that, as he's now coming under pressure from Monica Clara Brand, who's trying to make her way still back through the field in the number 77 Livestrong machine. Monica Clara Brand doing a solid job there. She's riding in the 13th position. Scored 2 laps down, but great heart there by Monica as she overtakes Ease1. But these 2 drivers work together. They can try and pull themselves back up to this pack, or Sean Stroud and David Ward.
But Ryan Norton definitely, all those battles are ensuing behind him, he's managed to open up a 4.7 second gap between him and Sean Stroud. So Sean and David have a lot of work to do to get up to Ryan. Now they're probably hoping for a caution so they can gather up that field once again.
Eric Hunter is now scored in 14th position out of the race. Just having a look back to see if anything happened to that number 99 machine. I believe he had himself a little bit of damage to his race car coming out of turn number 2. Tried to get some repairs to his race car, didn't seem to do the necessary adjustments to make it handle for him. He is out of the race. I believe also Pierre Bourdon in the number 92 machine. He hit the wall in turn number 1 all by himself by the look of it. Just clipped that curb, and we haven't talked about that curb in turn number 1 yet, but although it's there, you don't want to use it, because if you get it in the wrong angle, you just go all the way up onto that racetrack, and that turn 1 outside retaining wall is so unforgiving.
Yeah, that's just incredible. That you got to watch that, because on both of these 2, you'll see some kind of a similar reaction you get on turn 2, coming down onto that kind of rumble strip. It kind of bounces you out towards the wall.
So we've got a bit of an interesting scenario here as things settle down just for a moment, as Sean Stroud and David Ward working together. Their last lap, they cross around this time by a 1 minute 41.6 for Sean Stroud, and a 1 minute 41.6 for Monica Clara Brand. However, she was 8 100ths of a second faster than Sean Stroud in that last lap. And I'll say that again, it wasn't 1 minute 41, otherwise it'd be under caution. So 8 100ths of a second faster there for Monica Clara Brand, pulling Ease1 around the racetrack, trying to get them back to the duo of Sean Stroud and David Ward, as we're currently working lap number 77 of 100 here.
Yeah, Ryan Norton is not running as fast a lap times as Sean Stroud and David Ward, or even Monica Clara Brand or Yves Lander. So he might be trying to save some fuel because he's got that big gap. But he's a 10th of a second. Sean's managed to close a 10th of a second on Ryan during that last lap.
And at the same time, in the last 2 laps, Yves Lander, with help from Monica Clara Brand, has managed to close himself about a 10th and a half to Sean Stroud and David Ward, who are currently sat second and third respectively. Now, ISOWC needs to gain himself about another 3 or 4 tenths, and then they can really close back up to this duo in the battle for second, third and fourth. So it really could be the case that Sean Stroud and David Ward really need to work together to try and put away from ISOWC, because we know just how aggressive ISOWC can be towards the end of these races.
Yeah, it was really intense there for a while now. Like you say, it's like everybody's kind of, all the adrenaline overloads, and now they're kind of taking it easy and trying to close back up for that next stint of racing. We have 6 cars still on the lead lap, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars a lap down that are probably waiting for that next caution for a chance to get back in there. So I believe at lap 79 we still have a little bit of racing left to do.
And last lap, ISOWC managed to take a full tenth of a second out of that duo of Sean Stroud and David Ward. This time, the gap, ISOWC was again faster than both of these two drivers. The gap between these two now is down to 1.4 seconds. Anything else, and all of a sudden, these two drivers of Monica Claret-Brand and ISOWC are going to catch right up to the rear of David Ward and Sean Stroud. So look out, guys. Stop fighting between yourselves, because the lady and her German Swiss friend are coming.
Yeah, and they continue to gain on Ryan Norton as well. So Sean Stroud and David Ward working together and trying to close that gap. I believe Ryan's still trying to save fuel, but once again, nobody's safe at this point in time.
20 laps go then here at the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Will Vincent, Doyle Johnson and Randy Quezno are currently sat in the commentary booth. Randy, this is shaping out to be a great battle for second, third and fourth. But let's not discount the fact that Ryan Norton looks as though he's slowing down out front.
Yeah, Ryan's probably in fuel save mode, so he's got the
David
luxury.
Ward underneath Sean Stroud there. Don't mean to interrupt me. David Ward is now up into the second position. A beautiful manoeuvre off turn number 2. But Sean Stroud right again on the inside as they come down the front straightaway. He's going to have the inside line into turn number 1. So David Ward manages to just get himself around for one corner. While this is happening, Monica Claret-Brand and ISOWC are using this opportunity to catch down these two. But Rand, sorry to interrupt you, but I think that just compounds what I was saying to you.
No worries. I mean, it makes it exciting, because now with Sean and David battling it out for second, that will allow Eves to get back up there in the mix again. He's only, he's catching him a few tenths a lap, it looks like.
So last time by, David Ward did a 41.617. ISOWC a full 2 tenths of a second quicker as they come across the line. This time, Sean Stroud, the leader of these two, a 41.6. David Ward, a 41.7. Monica Claret-Brand, a 41.506. These drivers are catching, and that gap is now down to 1 second. This is where the draft kicks in. And Ward, Stroud, say hello to Monica Claret-Brand and ISOWC. Monica being a great teammate there to Eves in the number 88 machine.
What do you guys think, Randy and Will? What kind of fuel situation are we looking at now? We're on lap 83, 100 laps. So where are we at with fuel? Are we going to see a green flag pit stop here, or are we going to see some of these drivers go all the way?
I think it's close to safe. Some of these drivers, if they save enough caution and fuel, they'll be good to go to the end. And some of these drivers, they'll be tapping their fuel gauge on that car, even though it's digital. They'll be tapping it just to make sure they've got enough. I expect 1 or 2 drivers to possibly run out in turn 3. But for the most part, let's not forget that this fuel window used to be somewhere around 32 to 33 laps. Now with the fuel efficiency increase, that I believe has been put up to about 38 to 40, which puts us right on the cusp of what we'd need to complete a green flag stint.
Well, then that brings the question about Ryan Norton, because Sean Stroud and David Ward have both pitted since Ryan did, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and Monica Claret-Brand has just set herself the fastest lap of the race, a 41.350 for Monica Claret-Brand there. We've got literally a 1/1000th of a second discrepancy between our two timing systems. And Monica Claret-Brand, she just realised that she can still get herself 2 bonus points for the fastest lap of the race. David Ward and Yves Warner, they shared those bonus points last time by, as David Ward looking down to the inside of Sean Stroud yet again. These two drivers, they are not going to give each other an inch, and all this is doing is allowing Monica Clary Brand to close yet again to Yves Warner, as he's himself there, 41.301. So Yves Warner then takes those 2 bonus points away from Monica Clary Brand, and in the overall hunt for a championship, Yves Warner used this to advantage last year. Yes, he didn't win. He won some races, but he had some disappointing results elsewhere. He could compound that by getting those bonus points, and I think at times people forget how useful those bonus points can be. On a road course, it's all about driving skill, as David Ward again looks to the inside of Sean Stroud. Sean, like Norton, is just so good on that outside line, but on a roadside, fast up the race really does go to the driver with the best speed. Sorry, I need to take a minute there. Monica Claire Brand, 41.237.
Breathe.
Wow. And you see that Monica Claire Brand looking down to the inside of David Ward. What she does in the process was lose a position to Yves Warner. So Yves now is a three-way battle. Yves Warner, David Ward, Sean Stroud. I think Monica Claire Brand forgets the fact that she's 2 laps down. She wants to race with these boys. And you see there, Sean Stroud.
Well, David Ward slowing down immensely right there.
Yeah, this is going to allow Monica Claire Brand to get at least alongside Yves Warner. Will she be able to get herself down? Yeah, it looks as though she's going to be clear of Yves Warner into the corner. And David Ward took a very wide entry there. I was surprised that Monica didn't try and go down underneath him into turn number 1. But Monica Claire Brand really rusting it up between these drivers. She's helped Yves Warner get back into this fight. Now she's going to race him.
Now you look at Sean Stroud, got only clean air, and he's waving goodbye in his rearview mirror. Also up front, just keep you apprised that Ryan Norton has found the throttle pedal. He's running at least 2/10 a lap faster than he was before, so something's either got him worried or he figured he'd saved enough fuel and he's ready to go.
Yeah, Monica Claire with a plus 4 second lead, I think Ryan probably is doing the math, and he was saving, and with him picking up the speed, one of 2 things: either he's saved enough to get to the finish, or he knows he doesn't have enough to get to the finish, so he's going to be the rabbit and have to come in and pit in the last lap or 2.
So to run through your top 5 then, with 89 laps scored complete at the line, Ryan Norton is your race leader in the number 84 machine, with Sean Stroud in the number 21 Watch and Design car in second. David Ward in the number 69 is in third, with Yves Warner right behind him. Sean Stroud, David Ward, Yves Warner having a tremendous battle on track at the moment. John Ailes is currently sat in the 5th position, and he is 16.2 seconds behind the race lead. Oh, David Ward into the wall, collecting Yves Warner there. David Ward into the wall, caution I believe will be out, and Monica Claire Brand putting pressure on David Ward. He gets himself sky high into the wall, collecting Yves Warner. Yves Warner, does he save it? I believe he does. Yves Warner manages to save it there, no damage to him, and caution is out on the speedway. Heartbreak once again for David Ward, as he just gets himself a little bit tight into turn number 1 in that pink car, just getting a little bit tight there. And I think that could be experience of David Ward, just coming into play there. David Ward so new to oval racing. Let's not forget, this is only his second after an IndyCar Series race. He's had some very strong finishes, but perhaps that's the endurance aspect just kicking in a little bit.
And that kind of helps out, because Yves Warner, what a great save, mowing the lawn through there, taking advantage of that, did not contact the wall, brought it back out on the track. So he's probably going to be looking for that pit stop right now to kind of save him, because he's going to need some repairs. He's going to need to do some things to try to get out there. But now it's a new race. Gather them back up, boys. Let's go at it again.
And Yves Warner, I think, has to tie Sean Stroud for save of the race there, getting himself a little bit of contact with David Ward, spearing himself onto the grass. And let's not forget, this grass has absolutely no grip, and he's managed to keep the revs down, get himself back onto the racetrack, and pretty crazy between those two.
Yeah, and it gives Sean Stroud an opportunity to come back up and say hi to Ryan Norton. That is not what Ryan Norton wants to see right now, is Sean Stroud's smiling face waving at him in the rearview mirror.
So, here they come then. Down into pit lane for Ryan Norton. Sean Stroud right on the back of him there as he come down into pit. Michael Clare-Brown into pit lane. I believe everyone is in pit lane who is on the lead lap, with the exception of David Stowe in the number 96 machine.
Oh, no. Oh, I wonder what he's thinking about that. All those people will be trapped lap down if he continues to stay out on the track. Probably not something he's thinking about. I'm sure they will remind him.
Monica Clare-Brown
coming off of pit road there.
Monica Clare-Brown.
Sean Stroud spinning off pit road.
And meanwhile, Monica Clare-Brown, she gets herself a black flag for entering a closed pit. Sean Stroud, why is there always so much drama at the end of our races? Sean Stroud out of pit lane, spinning the car. I just wanted to know how close that was between himself and Norton. Just about a car between those two. I think Sean Stroud might need to come down pit lane again, with those tyres being slightly worn out now.
I think on the new tire model, I don't think so. I think they're going to cool off, and he should be okay, although he will lose a little bit of a grip advantage now on the restart.
Yeah, and we're going to take you back in just 1 second to, let's take you back to the incident with David Ward and Monica Clare-Brown and Yves Warner. We're going to have a look at this as we're coming past the start-finish line just now of Yves Warner. As they come into turn number 1, sorry, just give us 1 second. As they're coming into turn number 1, just Yves Warner was just sat there right behind David Ward. He could see David Ward shooting up the racetrack. He had nowhere to go, and he just gets clipped just as he's going past onto the grass, and keeping those. He did a very good thing there, keeping it in the high gear, getting the revs down, not putting the brake on, just letting off the throttle, keeping the car in a straight line, and that was a very good save there by Yves Warner.
Well, it looks like Joaquin Bolitzer, Julian Pham, and Thomas Kroll and Dave Jinks are now scored back onto the lead lap. So that was last caution was good news for those 4 or 5.
So disappointment for David Ward in the number 69 pink machine. We'll talk to him after this race is complete. Sean Stroud is currently scored as your race leader because of the fact, even though he spun his car, I believe he got out of pit lane first. So he really did manage to get himself into a good position. But just how warm are his tyres? With this new time on and the emphasis so much on temperature, I think he might have dodged the bullet. You might be right there, Doyle. But with the lights out in the pace car, we're going to go back to green flag racing with 7 laps to go. With Sean Stroud in first, Ryan Norton in second, John Ailes in third, Philippe Lambert in fourth, Yves Warner in the 5th spot. So this is going to be an interesting finish to this race.
And if anybody thinks that Ryan Norton is not going to give a shot up there to the front, I think they're mistaken. So this, I don't think we're going to see, I'd be surprised if we see Sean Stroud take off for this one like he has in the past.
Yeah, Ryan Norton will not give an inch. He wants to win his second Afterburn IndyCar Series race, winning his first race at Dover last season, hasn't won a race since. His is his best chance in a while to drive himself into victory lane. So expect some very close racing between Sean Stroud and Ryan Norton. Will Sean Stroud's tyres come into play here after spinning it in pit lane? Will Ryan Norton be able to get past? Will Yves Warner be able to get himself back through the field? We'll find out in just a matter of moments as the pace car is in, and with the 7 laps to go at the line, green flag in the air. Good start by Stroud.
He's working on the inside, then the outside. He's going to try to get up as fast. He does not want to lose those leaders.
But he's wanting to get himself bumped there by Philippe Lambert, making himself a move down the inside of John Ailes. And now you see Iswano, he's looking down to the inside of John Ailes. Has he got the speed to get Philippe Lambert as well? Or will he get held up a little bit into turn number 2? It looks like Iswano is going to be able to get both of them down into turn number 2. Philippe Lambert there beautifully just moving a little bit up, just in case Iswano didn't make the move, which he did. This is going to save Iswano's bacon as they come into turn number 3. Sean Stroud is your race leader with Ryan Norton in second. Iswano is in third. And guys, I think he just managed to keep that lead draft.
We'll find out momentarily. We know Iswano, he is not going to give up this race. So if he's caught that draft, he's going to get up there. And we're going to see it old-fashioned gunslinger style. These guys are going to be battling it out.
So, Ryan Norton, he's currently sat in the second position. Sean Stroud is your race leader. We have got ourselves 5 laps to go at the line. Ryan Norton looking down to the inside. Let's not forget Sean Stroud and Ryan Norton. They might be very good friends. These guys like to race each other hard. Ryan Norton looking as though he's got himself a better line coming off turn number 3. Not quite close enough to make a move down to the inside. Looking for that draft. It's not coming just yet. Needed to be just a little bit closer. But again, we've got ourselves some lap traffic which could come into play towards the end of this race. As Ryan Norton getting very high off turn 2. Iswano, however, I'm not sure whether or not that draft's going to help him because Norton and Stroud are setting such a ferocious pace out front.
Well, he's probably hoping we're going to get held up by that back marker right there in order to close the gap. But and this is going to be interesting too because as we've seen before, both Sean Stroud and Ryan Norton able to run the low or the high line. So either way will work for both of these drivers.
Ryan Norton setting the fastest lap of the race of 41.169, just 2 laps to go. 41.263 this time. Iswano has faded. It looks as though for the moment he's going to have to be content with the 3rd position. Philippe Lambert currently sat in the 3rd spot with John Ailes in 4th even. John Ailes in 5th, David Stowe in 6th. As Julien found they're just moving offline to allow Ryan Norton to get past. Oh, so close they came through turn number 2. Meanwhile, 3 wide almost as they came through turn number 2. John Ailes managing to get the job done on Philippe Lambert. That moves him up into the 4th position. Wonderful Clive Brown, even though she's still 2 laps down, making the move also on Philippe Lambert. And out front, Sean Stroud's managed to get himself now a 3/10 of a second advantage with 3 laps to go.
Coming out of turn 1 last time, Ryan Norton got really high and had to lift quite a bit. And Sean Stroud just shot underneath him like a rocket. Managed to gain quite a bit of time on him. So it doesn't look like Ryan Norton's going to have anything for him for the next 2 laps, and we'll find out.
And you see turn number 2, we have got ourselves about 6.5 miles left of the Pocono 250 on Glacier TV. Sean Stroud is your race leader with Ryan Norton in the 2nd position. Iswano, he definitely has faded now. He is 1.7 seconds behind these 2 drivers. With John Ailes in 4th, Philippe Lambert is in 5th. David Stowe in the 6th spot with Hakan Policna in 7th. Sean Stroud, your race leader, 2 laps to go. Has Norton got anything with Sean Stroud? Last time by, Ryan Norton was simply 1/100th of a second faster than Sean Stroud. He needs to be a lot closer than that to close that gap. Is Norton preparing for one final move as they come through turn number 2? It does look as though for the moment Sean Stroud has got his act together as they come through turn number 3. Now, Ryan Norton might be content with the fact he's definitely going to get these 2 bonus points unless someone pulls a cat out of the bag in this last lap. But as they come down the front straightaway, the white flag's in air, 1 more lap to go, and Sean Stroud still got himself a 5/10 of a second advantage now. He's pulled out from Ryan Norton.
Sean Stroud known very much for his absolutely consistent race lines, which we all know leads to a lot of speed. So as you can see there, just being consistent, running his line, doesn't look like Ryan's going to be able to do anything with him.
Philippe Lambert, he has got himself into a position where he is out of the race, just losing his connection with 2 laps to go. Disappointment for Philippe Lambert in the 02 car, but as they come off turn number 3, Sean Stroud is going to win the Pocono 250 with Ryan Norton at the line, 5/10 of a second behind. And I have to say, Ryan Norton might get the fastest lap of the race, but Sean Stroud out front with no draft for 41.2 those last 2 laps. Great drive by Sean Stroud and Ryan Norton. Iswano comes home in the 3rd position with John Ailes in 4th. David Stowe in the 5th spot. Great drive for him. Hakim Politna in the number 59. Simsing.de is in 6th with Dave Jinks in 7th. Thomas Kroll coming across the line in the 8th spot. Julian Pham, the sole driver, 1 lap down in 9th. Monica Clara Brand, determined drive for her. She finishes up in the 10th position. Philippe Lambert, after losing connection with just 2 laps to go in the 0-2 machine, will come home in the 11th spot. And then David Ward, Pierre Bourdon, Eric Hunter, Jonathan Goke and Randy Crosno are your race retirements. And I have to say, guys, great finish to that race. As you see there, Sean Stroud, early on in this race, he spun out of pit lane. This time, he can do donuts and be content.
Earlier on, we heard mention that Sean Stroud wasn't even looking to enter the race, but then it changed his mind at the last minute, and I'm sure he's glad that he did. Ryan Norton, same position. Good job to the top 3, actually top 5. All these racers, really good job on the new tire model, kind of getting out here under the first real official competitive race of this season. So, great job.
And while he's still doing donuts, Sean Stroud, congratulations, you win yet again on the Afterburn IndyCar Series.
Woohoo! That was fun. That was really hairy in the middle of the race. Good race by Ryan, coming back from the good field.
And at one point, on that last caution, you spun the car coming out of pit lane, as we're seeing you do donuts now. Were you worried about whether or not you'd have, worn your tyres out too much and come under too much pressure on that last restart?
No, not at all, because I've looked through and they cool right down when you're cruising around, so I wasn't worried at all.
And just how different is the racing now with this new tyre model, new suspension model and new aero model, everything they've done to the IndyCar at a track like Pocono, which has always produced some very interesting racing?
Well, it's definitely easier to follow another car now. That's something that I found. And oh, sorry, yeah. Ryan was saying something to me. But yeah, I don't think it's changed the whole lot. It is easier to follow a car. It's easier to get runs on people. But you've definitely got to manage your tyres over a long run.
And in the meanwhile, you're doing the world's longest set of donuts here in the Afterburn IndyCar Series. Congratulations to you in this race. We're going to bring down second place finisher Ryan Norton. Ryan, you came home second. For a moment, it looked as though you had something for Sean Stroud in those last few laps. But then it just looked as though Sean just put on an extra 200 horsepower and was able to drive away from you.
No, I'd say I put on a parachute and just kept screwing up. I wasn't. I was behind the car in the aero push, and it just got tight on me and won a couple times, and of course that kills you all the way back to 3, so. But, last thing I wanted to see was that caution, but it happens, and it was fun. Learned a lot. Until
that point, whilst Sean Stroud, who's finally managed to blow up his engine.
The engine blew.
Until that point, while Sean Stroud, David Ward, Yves Warner and Monica Clara Brown were all fighting for position, you were able to eke yourself out a 4.5 second gap. Now, were you expecting to have to do a green flag pit stop, or had you saved enough fuel?
Oh, I was fine. I had they got caught up racing, and I wasn't really running that much faster than they could, but with them side by side, it slowed them all down. And I think once Sean got out in clean air, he kind of proved that. He maybe caught me about a half-tenth a lap, if that. So, yeah, I had plenty of fuel. Actually, I think it hurt me because I had a little too much at the end. I had like 6 gallons coming to the green. I only needed about 3. So, but it was fun. I was hoping it would go green from the stop about lap 50. I'd actually short filled, and took 25 laps worth or so of fuel and was going to pit, and I got about 2.5 second gap when the caution came out, so that would have been interesting to see how that played out too.
And coming back to Sean very quickly, you do win the award for the greatest save, not only of the race, but in Afterburn IndyCar Series history. There's that moment when you came down pit lane. What was going through your mind with that contact between yourself and Jonathan Goke, which just speared you down left and having to save it as you came down pit load?
I really don't think you want me to say what I was thinking at the time. As you see a wall coming towards you at 210 miles an hour, it's not a pleasant experience.
So a case of beep, beepity beep. But you really did need the caution after that to get yourself back onto the lead lap, and then going through the traffic was a joy to watch. But was the fact that you had to come through traffic the thing that allowed Norton to really get away?
Oh, definitely. I don't think he could have got away from me if we were together from the start of the run. When John and Ryan both beat me out of pit road, I was just waiting for one of them to hit the wall, and unfortunately John hit the rear end of me.
Bringing in third place finisher, Eves Warner in the number 88 machine. Eves, strong race for you. Again, with a great save as you got involved in the incident with David Ward as he came darting off the wall down the racetrack. I'm going to start there. How difficult was it to control your car over that grass?
Yeah, of course, it was pretty difficult, but I was lucky that I could manage to hold the car onto the grass and come back to the field. Yeah, it was really close.
And at one point, if I'm not mistaken, you were 2 laps down.
Yeah, that's correct.
How committed did you have to be to get yourself back onto the lead lap, having to work through cautions and different people and different strategies?
Yeah, it was all about to think all the time about the strategies and to see which guys come to pit road and if I could get the wave around. And yeah, I could manage it. I was pretty lucky there.
And as you look to once again assert yourself as a dominant force in the Afterburn IndyCar Series, a third place from pretty much qualifying, not qualifying even, is more than you could have hoped for, I'm guessing, at the start of this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty fine with this result. I mean, Sean and Ryan are great drivers, and so I'm pretty happy with place 3.
And just how intense was that battle with yourself, Sean Stroud, and Monica Clarebrand earlier on?
Yeah, it was all the time pretty close to see all these drivers. I mean, sometimes we were 3 wide. I mean, we had so many situations which we were all really lucky that we didn't get involved in there.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait until later on to interview David in the Afterburn Social Hub. David Ward, very quickly, did you have a good race?
I absolutely loved it, even though all the drama coming through the field, fantastic. Unfortunately, got a little bubble, went into the wall, but, you know, this is a learning experience for me. So, you know, next one, keep on going.
Thank you very much, David. Let's not forget, next week, the Afterburn IndyCar Series moves to England for the London Men Cup Endurance Challenge on the Brands Hatch Indy layout. 165 laps. This is going to be a very long and difficult race for drivers, all in the name of a good cause for MenCap, the charity that deals with learning disabilities. Find out more on that on teamafterburn.com, with a couple of places still available for the race. So we'll be back with that same time, same place, May the 6th on Glacier TV. And to sum up, Doyle, great race today.
Absolutely excellent race. I'm glad we could be here to watch that. It was much better than we expected. So really good race, and congratulations, Sean.
And very quickly, because he's not here, do you think Randy was disappointed?
I absolutely think Randy was disappointed. He was just being very quiet today.
So coming up,
I think he actually wrecked to come into the booth just so he could be with us.
So don't forget.
Just because I said I would, David, it's your fault, bud.
Oh.
Interesting conversation between the Afterburn drivers. Do not forget that coming up this week on Glacier TV, we have, on Wednesday, the iRacing Skip Barber Premier Series. Once again, the iRacing Skip Barber Premier Series. Great Premier Series there. Also, let's not forget, on Tuesday, the first race of the TFR Touring Car Championship. On Saturday, we have the TFR Super Cup round number 1 of the summer season, along with the Continental Endurance Sports Car Challenge. And then we're back next week for the London Men Cup Endurance Challenge here on Glacier TV. So we'll see you for that next week. From myself, from Doyle Johnson, from Randy Crosno, we wish you all a very good afternoon.